Hey guys, back again. So we are back after a long time with Angular unit testing, but I found an issue when I was going to record. Well, first of all, this one that is expecting to get the HTTP client, it seems. Okay, no provider for HTTP client. We will check that. But um, there's some. Which one is? Is this one? Okay, I will explain a little bit about this. Okay, this is what we're going to do today. But you can see we have some deprecations. Okay, this still runs the test just fine. So what I'm going to do is just continue with this to finish with Angular 9. Okay, but this is marked as deprecated. What I haven't seen, I just opened the project right now and I found this. So what I'm going to do is to stick with what I have here and then focus on fixing this in another video once we finish this, because let me just show you that the rest is just working fine. Okay, we don't have any other deprecations, so this means that we can mark this with an asterisk. Okay, because this although it's going to work, is not the correct way, at least in this version or future versions. Okay, so let's just continue with this so we can see how to load the lazy loading with versions that are less than Angular 9 that it doesn't say here, right? No, that are Angular 9, okay, because this was working with Angular 9. Let's say that are versions lower than Angular 10. So all this should work, but I will find a way to make it work with the current stuff later once we finish with this. Right now I don't have any work to do, so that's why I'm recording. Again, sorry guys, sometimes I'm too busy and I can just record anything. I don't have time. So let's continue with this and let's try to fix this stuff. So first of all, okay, this is the current project, the Angular 9 that we have. So far we only need to do the main, the add post. I think the other I changed that name, it seems is post. Okay, we need to go to the main to add post and then to post to finish this. Let me just check my other yeah. So this one is the only spec that is not going to work correctly, kinda, in future versions. The rest are just doing fine. It seems no deprecations. So we will see and come back later to fix all this stuff to make it match the version. Okay, so let me just go here, and this is the page. You can see that we are kind of testing. Okay, nothing too fancy. We still need to add the form there, but we will check what we have here. So I think let me just check. We already have the main, but it's not working because I was using Firebase. Was I? Oh no, localhost API. Okay. This one is going to work without the API, so we don't need that. The only thing is that we will not see the posts here, but this should work without the API. It's just the testing for the routing, so we can just click this button and move to the other route because it's being lazy loaded, so we can see how it was with the versions below 10, Angular 10. So yeah, let's just focus on this. So right now I'm going to import what I need. or what I needed in this case, let me just import below the main component all this, and we have the comments. Let me just make this a little bigger. Well, not that. Well, let's just keep it like this. So we have location, okay? Router testing module, this that is deprecated from Angular core HTTP client module that we will need to add because it's lazy loading, and I think that is the problem. We need to inject that. So the router and their routes, because we need the routes in order to click the button. I still have this. Okay, click the button and go to the other page. So this should take us to add a new post, which is going to be the same as this. Okay, the same component. So let me just grab my HTTP client that is going to mock up the controllers and the HTTP client request, which in this case we don't need, but that shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to get the services because we will need to do. Okay, what is going to happen is that when we click the button, we're going to lazy load the other component. Okay, so we are going to get, or we need to grab all the stuff that the other component is going to need. That's why we're going to get the service and the post module itself. Okay, so let me just check. And also they change test bed, which is not get, is inject. We will see that in a second. So it's VS Code is going to mark us the stuff that is deprecated. So let's continue with this. We have the component, we have the fixture. Let's make this a little bigger. We can do it here. Okay. Of course, you will get the files later, but you can see what we have imported here. Okay, and you can read the stuff. Let's mark this one with some asterisks because this is not the correct way anymore. Okay. So fixture, we have we need the injector. So let injector to be type of testbed, which I think is already imported. Okay, it's imported. I think it auto imported that. So we have the injector. Okay, in this case, it seems we don't need a service to set the service variables here. So let's just save this and let's just move, because I don't care about what we can see in the browser. I just care about what we can see in the with Jasmine. So we have the before each. So this is going to run before each task. We have the declaration, that is the component that we are going to check. Okay, this is by default. So if you want to make one spec.ts by yourself, you just need to import the component fixture, the testbed, and we have async, of course, to make all these actions, and set the declaration as the component you want to test. So you still need to import the component inside the testbed, which is the environment. Okay. So we need to add the imports array below this. So let's just try to make this work like this. So we need the router testing module with routes. This hasn't changed. Okay, we need to pass the routes, so it mockups the routes and we can move between the routes. Okay, so HTTP client testing module to test what is going to be inside the post. Oh no, we're going to need the stuff. Okay, and yeah, we're going to need the API. So let me just, because I was wrong, what we're going to test here is using the HTTP client testing module to see if when we click what we have below. So let me just move this. Then that we're going to redirect to the specific post. Okay, so let's just do this right now, and So I'm using the node TypeScript. So let me just go to my source, go to my, I don't have anything here. Okay. Okay, I was just checking that what I had. So, and also I think I was using this. Okay, this is going to be a mess. Okay, so let me just check terminal, and it was npm run dev, I think, for the TypeScript. So let's see if this runs. It should run, but Mongo Atlas should give us an error. Okay, starting TS node. Let's just wait for this, guys. Sorry about this. I thought I didn't need that, but well, what can I do? It's lazy Friday. Okay, go down. I'm just checking this freaking phone. Okay, nothing to worry about. Okay. Yeah, Mongo Network. Sorry, I was checking my phone in case I receive a message about work. So let me just go to Mongo Atlas. Do I have my password here, or do I need to open other another instance? Let's sign in with this. Let me just check, guys. This should be it, and I don't have the password here. Nice. And I don't feel like looking for that. Okay, so let me just open another one, move it out of the way, and go to Mongo Atlas. Okay, so I will show you in a bit what I mean by why we have the error. So let me just go to bookmarks. Okay, just hide that. Okay, so let's just do this. My email and my password. Nice. Okay, so we are in Mongo Atlas. So let's wait for this to load. Yeah, okay. All my notifications, different. Your web apps. Okay, that looks nice. If you want to learn, guys, make sure to subscribe to any channel, anything that has some good content or articles. And with notifications, you can get a ton of stuff that you can just download or well, download as PDF. Okay, let me just. Okay, this is getting okay. Fuck. But this is something I don't like. You get spammed with notifications. So let me just go to Ismintut, I think. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, it's network access. Let's go to network access, and since this is going to change, my IP is public, so it's going to change every time. I don't give a freak if you can see this. Okay, so inside IP address we have the address, or I have this address that is already changed. Okay, so I need to edit, and I need to add current IP, and you can see my public ID there. IP, I mean, it's going to expand the changes, and it's going to take a little bit for that to work. In case you have this problem, this is a nice feature that is the whitelisting, but sometimes it gets a little noisy when we are trying to develop something and we spend time between, you know, continuing with the project. So you need to do this every so often. So let's wait for that, and let's continue with this. Okay, so we have the testing module and everything, and we are going to compile everything. Okay, so that is by default. Inside the fix, the before each, we create a component inside the testbed environment, which is a testing, and we get the component instance so we can check the changes using the fixture. But what I did here is that we need the injector inside this equals to the function get testbed, which gets the environment, then HTTP testing controller equals to testbed, and now this function is deprecated, you can see that, and here we would pass the testing controller. Okay, so HTTP test kind of file. Did you mean? No, what I meant is that I wanted to get this. Okay, and you can see it now recognizes. So, okay, what I did here, in case you didn't see, is just to create the HTTP testing controller with the type of HTTP testing controller. Okay, so it says we need for the HTTP. So below this, on line 38, what we needed, or what we still need to do in this case, is the post service. Post service. Okay, what I'm doing here is getting the service, which I should have already here, but it's not showing me that I'm using this particular, but this value, okay, the value is never read. Okay, so post service, we have the post service here equals to injector, so we need to inject the service back again, that get post service. Okay, just like that, and gonna name it post. Okay, because it's plural, it's post service. Okay, so we have that. I've been working with Vue, and Vue doesn't require this, and if you're using ESLint on things like Nuxt, it's going to complain because it doesn't want the freaking semicolons. But make sure to get used to use the semicolons, okay, because it's important on other languages, and it's something that I don't like with Vue.js, that sloppy kind of syntax, or I don't know. We learned that you know, some things, some small things like a semicolon can give you a ton of problems, and now with Vue and Nuxt it's like, oh, you don't need that. But if you move to React, Angular or something, if you miss a semicolon, it could try to parse it as maybe continuing something, okay, and that is going to give you a problem in case no, I just wanted to say that honestly. So we have the fixture changes, which is going to check for the changes every time we make we run this before each. So let's see if we got something. Okay, so this is not working anymore, so let's just, okay, this should be working because we already tested, or we already checked the Mongo network error. Okay, you can see that is a connection established, and let me just check. Okay, you can see 12 success. Why? Because we're injecting all this stuff. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay, sorry, I'm not actually I don't have that actually open with ngserve. Let's just make this real quick. And even though if this video takes 40 minutes to make, I don't really mind. And you shouldn't really mind neither, because a ton of this stuff you will need to do it on your work as a developer. So you need to be aware of you know, that you sometimes might spend all night awake trying to fix something. Okay, so if you're planning to work as a developer, freelancer, or in a company, expect this kind of things that you need to make a ton of research, and it's not always, or I could say that 70-80% of the time is not fun. It's not ribbons and colors. It's not that. Okay, so I'm just being honest. So most of the stuff that you see in YouTube, some of that crazy stuff, all that funny stuff, most of that stuff is not what you are going to do when you are working as a developer. Okay, so you still have your chance to get some fun projects and all that, but 70-80% of the time you will be buried by problems, by a lot of stuff that you need to be aware and prepare your mind for that. Okay, so we already have this because the API is working. We can click this and it's going to take us to the post, which is not created. So let's just continue with this. I'm going to, well, I don't need to move this. Okay, so what we're going to test is that first, I think I'm going to test this one. I'm testing only this one. So when I click, well, not specifically this, but I'm testing all this behavior. So when I click here, I want to see that I'm redirecting to the post and the specific ID. Okay, so I want to see that behavior. So let's just go back and ng test. Okay, continue with this. So I mean, if you have to most of the times you will not learn continuing with what I had said. Most of the times you will not learn or get the answer that you need in a 5 minutes video. Okay, sometimes what I see on YouTube is that people just do stuff, throw it there, get some views, and they move along. Okay, they move away, I mean, from that, and you never get the full stuff that you need. So I'm trying to break that kind of behavior, and I'm trying to make my videos, even if they last longer, you can fucking download the videos and use them. Okay, they have my watermark, so that's not really a big problem. So you can download them, and if you want to upload the video to your public YouTube, I mean not public, sorry, private, so you have kind of these video references, you can do it. Okay, as long as you don't post them as yours, okay, everything is going to be fine. You can use them as studying stuff, so just be aware of that. So let's continue. So this is returning fine because we're injecting now what we need from the testing controller and the post services. Okay, and we have the HTTP client here that is being imported. Okay, so, and also, sorry, because that was the HTTP client that was giving the error, we added inside the imports array, and everything is going to run fine. So now this is the last stuff from this video. Okay, so the last function that we're going to test, or the most important thing, okay, should navigate to the selected post, and we're going to use fake async to make this fake lazy loading stuff. Okay, so let's route. Remember that all this is happening in an environment different than the browser. Okay, so this is kinda, if you know React, kinda fake dumb stuff. Okay, so you can take it like that. So let's say testbed. So this is a simulation, right? It's not that's why you need to do a lot of this crap. Let's be honest, most of the times you will not want to come to the spec.ts and start checking all this, but for some jobs it's a requirement to understand at least what is going to happen with the test beds or with the test files. So it's kind of important still to understand this. So we get another time the environment, and from the environment we get the current location on where we are. Okay, so if we are inside the localhost for 42, I mean this is just this, right? The slash. So it's going to check for the location and it's going to return us that. At least it was before this. Right now it's going to say you need to use inject. Where the hell is this? If we use inject, that should inject the router, but this is specifically a function that is going to run the lazy loading of another component. Okay, so that's why this is kind of specific, and this is the only part of this series on which we can have some doubts on how it's going to be implemented in the future. Okay, but the rest is going to continue as we have it, or as I have it here. So this is the only thing that you might need in Angular 10 Plus. You might need to see how to implement, but again I will try to find the answer for this and post it, okay, in YouTube, so you can get the reference. So now we need to initialize this router, that initial navigation, and this is going to get the routing. Okay, let me just grab this. You might need to. Okay, it's going to set up the location change listener, okay, and perform the initial setup, the initial navigation. So we know where we are and where we are heading. So the next stuff is the constant loader equals the testbed, and this is what is going to change. Okay, because in this case we will get the ng module factory loader, which is deprecated at this moment, and this simulates the loading of the ng modules. Okay, so this is the important part. Okay, this simulates the loading of the modules that when we click, okay, it's going to simulate the loading of the post. Okay, so that's why, again, in case, okay, we're going to make a little recap after this, because I said something that I shouldn't, and I don't want you to make the wrong idea. So I will make a recap in a bit. So let's just continue with this. And so from this, it used to have the stub modules, and here we pass the module with this lazy module property. We pass an object with the lazy module property, which was going to load the module that we wanted when we redirected using the router. Okay, so this is the part that is going to let me just make these changes. Deprecated. Okay, so this is what is going to change. So all this is what is going to change, because we don't have now the stub modules as I saw. Okay, it just was a fast look at this, but this is something that was needed for the lazy loading. So I can change the injects and all stuff, but we are not going to get the stub modules because it seems that it doesn't exist anymore. So I will need to see what is the equivalent for that. And what we have, okay, because I deleted that, okay. And now what we need to do here in this case is router reset config, and this is an array. So we will reset what we have in the router to make it the path post ID. We pass the specific set that we are expecting. We use the load children, and we say lazy module. So we're going to load what we have here. We're going to load the post module. Okay, and router that navigate. So we set everything in the router, and we will navigate by URL to the post colon ID, and it should populate with the stuff we need. So here we will add the tick function. Okay, simulates the synchronous passage of time of the timers. Okay, so this is for the fake async. But what it's going to do, that I think it doesn't say here. Yep. It is. So waits for all the requests to be done before moving forward. Okay. So we wait for all this stuff, and then we move. So we need to say fixture changes to see the changes in the component. No. Oh wait, yeah, it was detect changes. Detect changes. And we expect, so this is going to load everything, okay? And we will see if we are in the location, that path, that to be. So we expect the location path to be the post and the ID. And that should be all for this, and let's test it. Let's check, is this one? Okay. Okay, my component should navigate to the selected post, fail. Post ID to be, okay. I forgot this one. Nope. And you can see it worked. So should navigate to a selected post. Okay. So that is how you're going to test. Remember that all this testing stuff is just a mock-up of what is going to happen in the real application. Of course, many people would say this is freaking crap, because this expects something to be set every freaking time, 100% sure, okay? And you will find it easier to check the stuff in the browser. That is still a valid point, okay? But I mean, let's make this a little simpler. If someone asks you to make some tests, you will need to learn how to make some tests, right? So you will need to understand what is going to happen and what is the environment on which you are running, how to set or how to make these mock-ups of the time and routing, how to detect for the changes, and how to wait for all that stuff to end, okay? And how to check where you are, which is the location. So I mean, you can grab this if you want and understand it, or you can just move and follow with projects that don't use testing. Currently, where I am working, we don't use testing. We just do this. I forgot the freaking method, but we just check with the client user how he, she, or they want the application to work, and we follow the pattern with the UX, with the designer, with the development of the features, functions. So that is still a valid point. Testing is something that can make your job easier. In case you change something, you first will run the tests, okay, before running your application, and see if something breaks. And if something breaks, you fix that. Maybe a function is just expecting or can only handle a string or an integer, and you change that, adding a new function, and that break the application. But you will see that first in this console instead of moving, and I think that's kind of the thing that testing have. You will not need to run the application. Let's just go here, and for example, if I get in this screen, okay, let me just change this. So this is all for this part, for this section. So we will continue with the add post, I think, but let me just explain this so you can make it or get an idea of why people would ask you to test. So let's just wait for this one to run. Okay, remember that we are using Angular 9. Okay, so let's just say, okay, let's just refresh just in case. Okay, so let's say we opened the application, we made some changes to the functions, and we added another stuff. Okay, but that functionality is for example, is doing the calculations below some other stuff. Okay, so maybe if I click to services, that specific function is not going to run. Okay, if I go to add post, that specific function is not going to run. But maybe if I click this, and inside the post I have maybe something with the stripe, something with I don't know, and you know, something that is behind layers of functionality. So picture that we have a product here, and we can select some other stuff and bury it below like 10-20 functions. There is the change that we built, okay, and the change that is breaking the application. But we wouldn't see that unless we move layer by layer, function by function inside the application, and get that error to trigger. But with tests, what we would do, and as I said, this is kind of the simplest thought of what you can extract of testing. So what you could do is just say ng test after doing your changes, and see if maybe you will get the, okay, let me just show you the stuff. Building, blah 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 blah, and let's get this stuff ready so we can at least finish this video right now. So in this case, you will see all the stuff here, and you will see component blah 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 is having that error. Okay, maybe you have like 20-50 components, and is the functionality you change is buried underneath that 20-50 components layer, or maybe 10-20 functions that you have defined that depend on that. So you wouldn't see it inside your application unless you move layer by layer, okay, and test everything inside the browser. Or I mean, as you see everything inside the browser, you wouldn't see the problem. You would think, okay, everything is ready, let's move it to production. But later a user will go to that specific route inside your application and find the error. But with test, you will see right away what you have and what you need to change, what is breaking, and you will react according to that. Okay, that's the simplest thought that I could thought about why you should test, or at least why you should keep a little place in your head for testing. Okay, So this could help you a ton in real big applications. So let me just check the time, guys. I was recording, yeah, 40 minutes. Okay, so that is all, guys, for this video. And in the next, I think I'm going to record it right away. I was going to do some Node stuff for the next series in the channel because I don't have anything with Node. So I want to do that. And but I think I'm going to record the creation of the ad post so we can have that next week. So wait for that in case I post that. If not, you will only get this video. So thank you, guys, and see you in the next one.